What is poppin', guys? Got your coach of the Chim Chargers here for our week 4 GBA match versus Gio, coach of the San Francisco GiEnteis, a very good friend of mine and a nice dude in general. I met this man at Worlds, I believe, in San Francisco when I was there, and he was a very cool person, very chill dude, so was happy to meet him. And of course, we're going to be playing for the first time, I believe, ever. So it's going to be a very fun, exciting match for you all today. Now, looking at his team, he brings a team of Bronzong, Conkeldurr, Rhyperior, Tapu Fini, Gengar, and Heliolisk. So immediately right now, I see some Pokemon that I definitely expected him to bring, while there were Pokemon that he did not choose to bring, which I didn't really expect on his part. So he didn't bring Salamence or Gyarados or even a combination of both, which could have been pretty threatening to my team. I did prepare for something like that, but he didn't end up bringing it, so that's kind of a relief to me, to be honest. He definitely brought Tapu Fini, which I expected him to bring, as well as Heliolisk, which is of course a fast electric type, and you already know what they say about fast electric types in relation to my team. He also brought Conkeldurr, which I definitely expected him to bring as well, because it's a hard hitter, really high base attack. It has a good amount of coverage as well for my team, so I definitely expected that coming, as well as either Bronzong or Ferrothorn. He decided to bring Bronzong, so that's some nice Magnezone food right there. He also decided to bring Gengar, so that's some nice Muck food right there. And he brought a Rhyperior, and Rhyperior is a very interesting pick on his part, because I have the potential to bring a Rain team, which I did not, because he has a lot of Pokemon that can deal with my Rain, like Tapu Fini, Ferrothorn, and stuff like that. So he actually brought Rhyperior, which is a pretty good move on his part. I mean, I think it'll do pretty well versus my team, should we fail to play around it. But yeah, I figured potential leads here would be either him leading off with Bronzong, trying to get up rocks early in the game. He could also potentially lead with Tapu Fini, because maybe he'll expect my Lando and he'll have the better matchup there with Tapu Fini. He could also potentially lead with his Conkeldurr, because it gets hard hits on my team initially, even at -1. Like it'll do work with its high base power attack and its coverage move. So I figured one of those leads were going to be there to start this game off. So I decided that my best lead was going to be my Lando T. Either way, I mean, it doesn't really matter what he leads with. I'm a Choice Scarf set, so I'm going to be able to get the momentum off early in the game, and I'm faster than everything on his team, bar a Scarf Gengar and a Scarf Heliolisk, which I don't think he's going to lead off with initially. So I figured, just going into this match here, it would be best to try to get in front of the game by trying to, I guess, pressure him with my momentum with Lando, get into Pokemon that are unfavorable to him. And I guess my sort of end goal here, or my sort of game plan, was using the different sort of interesting sets that I brought in order to deal with this team. Like, for instance, we could try to trap Bronzong with Magnezone, try to hit his team hard with Verzion, which his team does not appreciate, Pursuit Trap Gengar with Muck. Pretty much, like, I guess, sort of steps like that in order to assure us a victory. So let's see how this game goes. Let's see if we can put in work with this team, and let's just go ahead and commence the battle. Let's begin here. As we can see, Gio goes ahead and issues that challenge. Nice hat and nice sunglasses, coming to this battle in style. He brings his Bronzong as a lead, as I lead off with my Lando T. So I want to find out what kind of set he is. If he's bulky, I could potentially knock off his Shed Shell, or I can kind of see how much damage this does. So I go for a knockoff here on this thing. It's very nice, because it actually is able to bring him down below half. But he goes for Trick Room here, so he's bringing. We're up against Trick Room for a second week in a row. He's bringing Trick Room to the Trick House. So I'm gonna just switch out here. I go into my Magnezone, because he's probably either gonna set up rocks or go for the Boom. He actually goes for Explosion here. If you went for rocks, then I would have kind of just doubled back into my Lando perhaps and scouted for the Earthquake and just try to play around this Trick Room. But he just goes for the Boom right away, so no rocks on my side. That's great. Unfortunately, I mean, we were a bulky Magnezone, so we were able to eat this hit. Unfortunately, Magnezone can't trap anything anymore, so I'm just gonna pretty much stun or die right here, okay? Because he's faster with under Trick Room. He goes for the Ice Punch, predicting my switch into Lando, because I don't want to. He thinks I don't want to take an Earthquake, but I'm just out here to stun, so I go for the Magnet Rise. And I just wall this thing completely. So now he's pretty much in a position where he's forced to switch out of this Magnezone, because I'm just out here stunning. Now he's going to switch out here into his Conkeldurr, as I'm going to go ahead here and go for the sub, predicting his switch. Pretty obvious switch out here. He wouldn't like run any Fire Punch or anything, because I have a lot of water types on my team. So he does go into his Conkeldurr, reveals to be a Flame Orb set. So I decided, I'm going to go ahead and sub again, because he's still faster than me under Trick Room. I'm going to sub again on his Drain Punch, because I want Trick Room to be stalled out. He'll also take a little bit of chip damage from that burn. Then I can go for an attack like Flash Cannon on him. At this point, you know, Magnezone's not doing too much other than, I guess, just staying in and doing damage. I don't have any reason to switch out because Magnezone's not doing anything much to the rest of his team. Gonna go for the Flash Cannon here, though, and as you can see, this is a decent amount of damage. Does a decent amount of damage as he goes for the Drain Punch. So, I mean, Trick Room's already been stalled out, so that's pretty nice there. And as you can see here, he goes for the Drain Punch, breaking our Substitute, getting a little bit of health back from that. And now I'm gonna make another play here, okay? I wanna make another play here. So as you can see, I get back some leftovers. He takes some burn, right? Now watch this play, okay? I'm gonna stay in, go for another Flash Cannon, even though I know I can't kill him. I'm just gonna stay in and go for another Flash Cannon here. And he goes for the Ice Punch, predicting my Lando. Not bad. So at this point, I'm feeling pretty crisp about this game right now. In game, I'm just like, whew, I'm on fire. Not bad. So my Magnet Rise wears off, doesn't matter too much. I can just stay in and Flash Cannon it again. He does not have Mach Punch because he's running a full Trick Room set with 4 attacks that he doesn't have priority with because he's expecting to be under Trick Room. So we're able to beat Conkeldurr 1v1 with Magnezone. This is where you're going to see it. This is the only place you're going to see that. Not bad. So he brings in Heliolisk here. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to stay in. Like, there's no reason for me to switch out. He goes for the Dark Pulse. I flinch. I don't see an item on his Heliolisk because I don't see an item at all. That damage did very little. So I'm guessing he's probably Choice Scarfed. So he actually switches out here into Gengar. I guess he was probably predicting my switch to Virizion to get a justified boost, but I just stay in and click Flash Cannon again. So we're able to hit Gengar for some good damage, and now Gengar's below half at this point. And I'm just like, you know, I'm just going to stay in with Magnezone. Like, there's really no point in me trying to make plays in the position that I'm in right now. So I'm going to let Magnezone go down. It did its job. It did a really good job. And I'm going to go here into my Lando. Reason is because his team is pretty prone to Earthquake at this point. His only switch in being Tapu Fini, and if I can force in Tapu Fini, I can later on bring in Virizion, and that's going to be doing a good amount of work. So he actually does go to Tapu Fini here, not wanting to take a Scarf Earthquake on his Gengar. And I'm just going to go for the Earthquake here, and I'll be able to do some good damage there. Being able to get this thing a little bit lower, and of course not wanting to stay in with my Landorus, I will make a switch out here into Empoleon. The reason is because don't want to go into Muck because Muck is pretty useful late game, especially versus his Heliolisk. He can eat up hits. I am the Figgy Berry set, so I just decided to go into Empoleon here because it is a bit less useful versus his team at this point. So I definitely want to keep Muck for the end, especially since I can use it when it's healthy to Pursuit type Gengar. So that's still, of course, an objective in my mind at this point. So at this point, he's just going for like Nature's Madness, and I'm just going for Hidden Power Electric here just to weaken this thing a bit further. I don't think I'll be able to take him out in time, but he actually goes for a Surf here to switch it up a little bit. I go for an Ice Beam after the Surf because I'm thinking, right, like if he goes to Heliolisk, I don't want to give him that sort of advantage with the momentum. I just go for Ice Beam in case he wants to switch out, but it doesn't really matter too much because he's just going to continuously stay in with his Tapu Fini. He's going to go for the Moonblast here, and he will be able to knock me out at this point. So Tapu Fini able to knock out Empoleon here. We did take a good amount of hits here with with our nice resistance and typing. So I'm just going to go ahead and switch out here into my Virizion, or actually just go into Virizion because Empoleon died. But yeah, at this point, like I can just go for the Leaf Blade, knock out this Tapu Fini. So that Pokemon is gone. He's got 3 Pokemon left. He's got his Gengar, he's got his Rhyperior, and he's got his Heliolisk. So he goes to Gengar here, and I don't want to risk Virizion to this thing. I want to just switch out here into my Muck because Virizion is really nice versus his Rhyperior. Don't want to risk it at all. And he actually goes to the Trick Room again. In the back of my mind, I kind of knew he was Trick Room because I've actually faced Trick Room Gengar before on this like one team that I faced on the ladder in OU. So it was a pretty good team as well. So I'm just going to go for the Pursuit here, preventing Gengar from being able to live. He sets up Trick Room again. They call me the Trick Master though. You know, can't find me under the table and under the desk. whatever he does, he hides in different places. But I'm gonna switch out here out of Rhyperior. So it's pretty much a matter of me trying to stall at this Trick Room and winning with Virizion. So I go into my Landorus here as he goes to the Earthquake, finally making the play into Landorus on Rhyperior when he doesn't Ice Punch. He actually Ice Punches here and is able to knock me out. I looked at the damage calc. It was actually a roll. I mean, Rhyperior was at -1. It was a roll in my favor for him not to knock me out, but he was actually running E-Belt. So he actually did guarantee to knock me out. I go to Alakazam here because I'm Focus Sash. He hits a good amount of Rock Blasts here, gets a little bit lucky with the Rock Blasts, hits 4 of them, so I actually had Energy Ball, which would have been able to take this out pretty cleanly. Now I'm just going to go to Tech Support because the Trick Room is gone. The Trick Room is now gone. I can go for a Leaf Blade here and knock this thing out in one hit. And this was actually a roll, to be honest, because it was a roll that it might not have taken him out due to his Solid Rock. The only problem was that I still win in the end with Mux, so I wouldn't have mattered in the end. Maybe a 2-0 instead of a 1-0 instead of a 2-0, but at this point he just Dark Pulses here and gives me a nice Justified boost to help me out. And I can go for a close combat and just knock out this Heliolisk and win the game. GG, it's Emvee, and we were able to cop another W. A very solid game for sure. I think Gio played it really well, even though he played very aggressively. I don't blame him for that, especially since he was trying to predict me, especially since I played really aggressively as well. But I think I might have played a bit too aggressively here, a bit too aggressively. But I mean, I think the only problem that he had on his side was he didn't really assess my Magnezone too well in the sense that I didn't really need it after Bronzong went down. And I think he sort of, I guess he sort of misinterpreted the value of Magnezone in this match, which, I mean, either way, like, I'm pretty sure we still would have done really well, even if he decided to attack Magnezone at some point, but I feel like that really just sort of set the stage for how the game went. And but I mean, he definitely played really well for sure. Like it was a close match, especially since he set up Trick Room. Like if I was a man enough to stay in with Virizion and Leaf Blade again, it would have been over right there. But I didn't really want to risk Virizion, especially since it was a good win con for my team. So I kept that alive, and I think we played it really well for sure. So I definitely hope you all enjoyed this match, and let me know what you guys think. Of course, feel free to check out Gio's channel. The match on his side should go up as well at some point, so you know, feel free to see his perspective. I'm pretty excited to see how he reacted to those plays to those heat plays right there. So yeah, definitely a fun match for sure, and always trying to impress you all, so hopefully that this match did that. So anyways, let me know what you guys think. Of course, always looking forward to hearing from you all. As always, Chim Chargers coming through once again next week. I think we are going to be taking on Callum, Hoodlums Crafty, so he's also, I think, he's also doing pretty well so far, if I'm not mistaken. So far, I think he's, what, 2-1 right now? I don't know what it's going to be after this week, but we'll see. We will definitely see. Right now, we are 3-1, so let's keep going, and hopefully Chim Chargers can come through for another W next week. And I will see you guys then. Peace.